All right. Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Today, we're from Group 10. We would like to present our materials about pragmatics and human ethology in semantics and pragmatic class. Next slide, please. The first one is me. My name is Puspita Dewi, and then there are my friends, Kadek Ria Cahyani, and also Luh Agustini Pujayanti. Next, please. For today's material, we would like to talk about three subtopics. The first one is the introduction to pragmatics and human ethology. And then the second one is about expressing movements and ritualization into signals. And the last, next please. All right, so I would like to talk about the introduction first before we continue. So in this chapter, we talk about gestures a lot. So gestures are just one part of how we communicate with each other. There are other ways we express ourselves, not just by language, but also like facial expressions and also body language. In human ethology, it is basically the subdiscipline of biology that deals, among other things, with the communication functions of the various forms of expressive behavior. Next, please. And then in this chapter, according to research, different cultures have different ways of communicating through distance and body movements. Some scientists believe that there are universal ways that people interact and communicate, while others think that different cultures have their own unique ways of communicating. And then for the next part of subtopic will be presented by my friend. Thank you.
All right, thank you for the time. So now I will explain about expressive movements and their relation into signal. So for human ethologists, that is biologists, and behavior physiologists investigating human behavior, gesture belong to the class of the expressive movements, which they define as behavior patterns that have undergone distinctive differentiation in the surface of signals during a process of the resolution. So the prerequisite condition for the development of an expressive movement into a signal is that it has to regularly accompany a specific arousal condition. An arousal condition is defined as a physiological and a physiological state humans and animals in which an individual is attractive and reactive to present stimuli and such as way to others can usually recognize her or his deficient and emotional reaction to the stimuli and her or his intention for the future action. So the next is facial expression. So in the Darwinian views, there are universal emotion and facial expression that show them they should be the same across different communities. Some textures believe in the small set of the basic emotion that all people are recognized from the facial expression like happiness, surprise, and then the anger, disgusting, and the sadness. Raising eyebrows often happens with the smiling and nodding. This is seen as a way of the greeting and so that someone is open to the social interaction. It helps the bond and the social bond between people. We also communicate with our body's movements, not just outfits. The next one is personal distance and body movements, or we can call proxemics and kinetics. Ethologists have also shown that humans are both attracted to others at the same time fear them. They refer to kinds of the fear with the technical term social fears and claim that it's affiliated with personal acquaintance but remains a principal characteristic of the interpersonal behavior. As a result, we maintain various degrees of the greater distance between ourselves at others depending on the amount of the confidence we have to the others. So Edward said that Hall published his seminal article on human distance maintenance, which he found in the discipline called prometmics. He defines the discipline as the study of the man's perception and use of speech that deal primarily with the out of the ordinary distancing skill. His research revealed that people in the different culture refers to how much breath they give to the others when interacting, how observed. So he said that difference in how close people stand to each other can make it hard for them to walk. He said that people from the cultures need more speech when they talk, when people from the other countries need less. He calls the culture that less speech contact cultures and the cultures that need more speech or distance cultures. He also said that people have different distance for the different case of relationship. For example, people stand closer to their friends to strangers. This distance are related to how people act and movement their body when they talk. So, given the observation, his difference between contact cultures and distant culture on the basis of the kinesthesia, for example, like one person has an elbow room just outside from the touching distance, and the thermal receptors, or for example, like a wasted skins, hair, or breath, and the vision he defines for the American of North European as he take the following four distance, which vary with the relationship and according of the interactions. Is for the first one is intimate distances, start from O until 40 centimeter, and the second one is personal distance, start from 40 until 120 centimeter, and then a social distance or normal, and then the next, social consultative distance start from 120 until 400 centimeter, and then public distance start from 400 until 800 centimeters. So for personal distance are intersections of human territory. Human territory has also implication for postures, behavior, and body motion, which we control the territory is the climb in the four composition in interaction. For example, if two persons talk to each other, a third person who wants to join this diet cannot simply interact such as a diet. Nor can third person simply intrude on tired. If the interaction have to grant access that usually do this by changing their posture or position. They turn away from each other, thus opening close died and granting access to the new person. So that's all about me. The next presentation will be continued with my friends. Thank you.
All right, thank you for the time. So I will explain about the rituals communication, and the basic interaction strategies. And the first one, rituals. Rituals in a pragmatic context is a concept that refers to communicative actions that are repeated regularly and have a certain symbolic or social meaning in a culture or social group. In pragmatic studies, attention is paid to how these communicative rits influence meanings and the patterns of interaction within a society. And there are some aspects of rituals in pragmatics. The first one, symbolics. Symbolics are elements that are recognized and given meaning by members of a particular society. These symbols can be words, body movements, or specific action that have deep meaning in the cultural context. And the second one, repetition. One of the characteristics of rituals is repetition. Certain actions or words are repeated routinely, providing a sense of predictability and in daily interaction and reinforcing communicative norms. And the third one, cultural meaning. In rituals reflect the values and norms in the culture. This may include language norms, etiquette norms, or social rules reflected in the way people communicate. And last, communicative function. Rituals have a specific function in the communicative context. This can relate to strengthening social relationship, group identity, or even the establishment and maintenance of communication norms. Next. And the types of rituals in the pragmatics. And the first one, language rituals. This related to the use of language in certain contexts, such as formal greetings, thanks, or special praises uttered in a certain situation. And the second one, social rituals, involve social actions that are followed routinely, such as greetings, hugs, or giving gifts in a certain situation. And last, interaction rituals. This is related to certain interaction patterns that are repeated in the daily communication, such as rules in the conversation or etiquette in the meetings. And for examples of rituals, the first one, greetings when meeting, and the second one, birthday wishes, and the third one, funeral ceremony. Next. And the second material is about ritual communication. Rituals communication in pragmatics refers to communicative patterns that are repeated routinely in a group or society. This phenomenon highlights the communicative norms and habits that form the basis of social interaction and give meaning to the message conveyed. And there are some aspects of ritual communication. The first one, repetitive structure. So, in communication, rituals have a structure that is repeated consistently. This may include the use of particular language, speech patterns, or the sequence of actions expected and followed by group members. And the second one, communicative norms. These rituals include communicative norms that guide daily interactions. These norms can include how to speak, use of language, or etiquette in an environment. And the third one, symbolic meaning. In communication, rituals often contain deep symbolic meaning. Certain actions or words may have certain connotation or meanings that are accepted and understood by group members. And the last aspect, social bonding. Communication rituals play a role of informing and strengthening social bonds between individuals or between groups. They create a sense of community and shared identity within society. Next. And the types and examples of communication rituals in pragmatics. The first one, social interaction rituals. These involve norms and procedures in the everyday social interaction, such as how to greet, answer questions, or convey expression to thanks. And the second one, organizational communication rituals. This is related to communication patterns that are repeated within a organizational context, such as regular meetings and norms in the exchange of information. And the third one, family rituals. This is communication norms follow in the family, for example, ways of conveying message or certain communicative rules applied in the family environment. An example of ritual communication, the first one, formal conversation in business, and the second one, prayer before sharing a meal, and the third one, exchange of congratulation of formal occasion. Next. And next materials, the concept of basic interaction strategies. So according to F.L. Bistifeld, argues that rituals and forms of ritual communication can be referred back to so-called basic interaction strategies. And he claims that how all humans have a finite set of these conventionalist strategies at their disposal and assumes that these strategies are universal. Abel Avestfold differentiates the following four interaction strategies on the basis of their function and defines and subclassifies them as follows. The first one, strategies of group maintenance and bonding. So the function of these strategies is to establish, develop, maintain, and repair social relationship and to maintain group harmony and group unity. And the first one, strategies of friendly contact initiation. For example, greeting rituals, strategies of interaction, strategies of sexual approach, contact initiation and flirting, strategies of play socialization and exploration and development of commonality. And the second one, strategies which reinforce bonds. For example, rituals of unification, mother-child bonding, synchronization rituals, and demonstration of sympathy, rituals of group aggression, and cultivation of common values and indoctrination. And the second one, rituals of reciprocal care, for example, giving rituals and hospitality or grooming talk. And the third one, strategies maintaining group harmony. For example, strategies to maintain group norms, bringing defiance into line by mocking, censure or aggression to maintain norms. Strategies of pacification are made, for example, mediation, conflict resolution, strategies of support, strategies of making amends, and strategies to avoid challenges. And the second one, next, strategies of social learning and teaching, for example, strategies of social exploration and strategies of instruction. And the third one, strategies of rank stripping, for example, strategies of self-presentation, rank defense, and rituals of obedience. And the last one, strategies of fighting, for example, display and bluffing, challenging, attack and fighting, defense, withdrawal, reconciliation and peacemaking, and submission. So that's all from me. Thank you.
All right, before we end this presentation, let me read the conclusion of today's material. So everyone, in this chapter, we discuss about how people use nonverbal communication like facial expression and gestures to show their emotions and intentions. It also explored how these nonverbal cues can be explained in different cultures. It is important to be aware of these cultures' differences and to be respectful when communicating with people from different backgrounds. This chapter also mentioned the concept of ritual communication, which involves repetitive and formulaic interactions, and the idea that there are universal interaction strategies that drive social lives. So that was all the presentation of our groups for today. Thank you so much for your attention. And if you have any questions, please kindly send it to the class during discussion session. Thank you. Bye.